Lego Movie 2 video game. This is going to be the second to last level, and no, there are not any secret hidden levels after you finish these 7. This is literally the second to last one. This is Sorting Area, and it's probably the longest or one of the longest levels. I think it might just be the longest. The whole goal of this level is going to be following a train throughout it, filling up the train with a bunch of Lego bricks, and then defeating a boss at the end who tries to thwart our progress. You'll also notice that we need 16 of those Master Builder bricks. That is the most that you're going to need of any level to continue, but luckily they're still pretty easy to get, and since the level is so long, the quests that you'll be doing will give you most of them anyway. The first thing we got to do is get these 3 bulldozers woken up. Well, actually, we only have to wake up 2 of them, but then we have to move all 3 of them in way of the blockade that is stopping our progress. So one of them we just throw a generator down, and the other one we just paint the alarm clock to wake up the second one, which does take a couple more seconds than I imagined it would. I mean, that's kind of going on a while there, and finally he wakes up. So again, just keep an eye out for any of the Master Builder bricks that you may want to collect. Just look at your minimap for those, and it was kind of by this point that I was sort of starting to resent this game, because I was hoping there would be some thing, maybe it got better as it went, maybe it was like an RPG. They start out really slowly and they just get amazing halfway through, and then you can't stop playing until you beat it. But for this game, that didn't really happen. Now, unfortunately, the coolest part of the game happens at the end of the game. Now that does make sense, but the unfortunate part is that I can't really show it because it plays the Everything is Awesome song, and I really don't want to get hit with a copyright, so I'm gonna have to cut that part out. I might still show the video, but I'm gonna have to mute it. That'll really detract from the experience though, so I probably just won't show it at all. I would suggest if you really want to see it, go buy the game yourself. I still don't think this game is worth more than like $5 though. And of course, I think I am required to say that if I tell you to buy the game, that I was given to this game for free by Warner Brothers. So I do thank them for giving that to me, but even though I did say maybe play the game if you want to experience the ending on your own, I don't suggest that you buy it for full price at all. I have a link to the game in the description where you can buy it on Steam. It's not an affiliate link or anything like that. It's just a link to the Steam store. You can find it anywhere else. You can find the game on any other major console, and you know, there you go. So there's going to be a Master Builder brick over here we're going to collect, and it's probably the most challenging, out-of-the-way Master Builder brick we've ever done because we had to dodge a couple of rolling pins. That was actually kind of fun. Then there's also a chest on top of there. So we got the doorway opened up, and the train we will be meeting will be showing up here in a little bit. And there's actually something kind of interesting with the train that you can do to somewhat speed up your progress. I'll talk about it in a second. So we'll want to head on down here and jump down the platforms and jump onto the crane and jump onto the other platform and then to the 2 more platforms to this one. I don't think there's a brick inside of here. I don't remember what's inside of here, but I do destroy this area. Is there just a chest? Yep, there's just a chest inside of that, so we can get some extra Legos if we want to. We already have 96 blue Lego bricks, so it's not like we're ever going to need any more for the main quest. That's going to totally cover us until the end of the game. And then we can just jump on the cranes more and more. And then come onto the rock wall here and jump on up. And we will talk to this strange looking thing. He wants us to blow up this other wall. And this level was one of the cooler looking ones too. I think my favorite one, if I had to say my favorite level, would definitely have been that swamp one. This one was pretty close. It had a really cool effect, I guess. Trying to figure out how best to word that. Don't really know. I think the theme, I guess that's what I'm going for. The theme is pretty neat. The whole kind of building working class type of junkyard, and I wish in real life I had piles of these Lego bricks. That'd be fun. Okay, so there's also going to be a couple of gates that, if you've ever played Cuphead, remind me of one of the bosses in Cuphead. And that game, Cuphead, was a lot of fun too. It wasn't as hard as everyone told me it was, but it was a lot of fun. But anyway, those gates with the teeth there and the one eyeball above them just remind me of the remind me of one of the bosses, like the Candy Queen, I think is who it was. So there's going to be a couple of garages on our left there that we will be coming back to. If you want to save a little bit of time, you could open those up right now, and if you remember, we'll be wanting to throw Metalbeard's head onto them. But first, if we talk to the spaceman, we have some enemies to deal with. So these are a little bit more creative than we've had before, and they are charging enemies. So they're going to charge at us, as we saw there, and we'll just want to wait for that to happen and then hit them a couple of times on the back to get rid of them. I was a little bit annoyed with how often the game gave you a tutorial on how to defeat these guys, because I think it would have been better if we had figured it out on our own, and it really wouldn't have taken that long to figure out how to do that on our own. I know it's a Lego game, I know it's for younger audiences, but I think they just went a little bit overboard with the tutorials. But on the bright side, I do believe it's possible to disable them, so it's not really too big of a deal if you want to ignore all of those, but still. It's enabled by default, so unless you go to the menus and do that, it's still sort of annoying. Anyway, one of the objects we're going to need is going to be on the right garage here, but we're going to open up the left one because there is a chest inside. I don't remember if I get that chest. I'm pretty sure I do. Then we'll open up the other one with Metalbeard, and there will be yet another chest, although I think it's more like a toolbox. And we'll just destroy that, and that will give us the item once we can find it in the mess of Legos. There we go, our welding torch. So the welding torch is kind of like the lasers that you'll probably recognize from previous Lego games. It'll let us cut open Lego objects, and if there were golden objects in this game, which to my knowledge there are not, you know, there aren't even silver objects, now that I think about it. There's no silver objects, there's no explosives to blow up silver objects, at least not in the main quest. There might be more stuff in the side stuff, or in the exploring worlds, but none of that's in the main quest. They really cut out everything as we knew it, didn't they? Alright, so this is a conveyor belt. We're going to want to throw Metalbeard onto this, and again, this is just one of those things that reminded me, the people making this game, remember how to have fun, because we get that statue, and then we get the drum set. Like, that reminds me of previous Lego games, which is cool, and then we get the toolbox for the third one. And that's the kind of stuff I wanted to see throughout the whole game, but I can only really think of one or two times that happened, where it felt like they were making a regular Lego game. And maybe the whole point of this wasn't to be a regular Lego game. If that's true, then they did a good job in that regard, but that's not a good thing. Like, that's not really that's not really something that I think deserves praise or anything. I think they messed up. It's annoying. Okay, so there is our fully built welding tool, and we need to fix the engine of the train here. So we had to do all of that just to get the train working, and then if we noticed on the train, there are 3 big carts behind it, and we have to fill up all 3 of those. And yes, that means we are going to have to do a couple of different things 3 different times just to get it filled up. Now, one of them is a little bit easier than the other, but then it results in the boss fight, so it evens out in the end. Okay, so we'll just break open what's holding up the person's engine, and then we'll fix it just by scarring its cheek, I guess, and then it will open up. Now, what I mentioned earlier was how you can kind of slightly increase the speed it takes to traverse this level by getting in front of the train there. So if we see where the propellers are, if you sit in front of that, the train will drag you along, and it will be faster than you walking. I don't know if it's faster than if you build a vehicle, but later on I do that just because it's kind of funny. The camera glitches all over the place, and it does save a tiny smidgen of time. So of course there's going to be a couple of enemies on our way. We can avoid those pretty much entirely if we want to. You're supposed to get a bouncer to get up on top of there, but you can save yourself a couple of bricks if you just jump onto the train and then kind of double jump on over that way, then pick up that brick. So as I mentioned before, we need 16 of those, which is more than we need in any other level, so make sure to collect any extras that you can find. And there's going to be a couple more of these charger guys, so just let them charge at you. And I decided to go for this one because I didn't have to chase the other one down, or I would have to chase the other one down, even though the other one was the weakest, and somehow didn't manage to kill either of them with that mess. And then I decided to do the super move, but this only killed one of them, so that was kind of a waste of time. Things were not going my way right here, and That got that one dead, so then we have to wait for this guy to charge at us so we can finally destroy him, and he doesn't really have too many hits left. I think just one. 2, 3. Okay, looks like he had all of them. I don't know, maybe he gets his health back. Anyway, once that's over with, we'll want to talk to this person because we'll have to get the first set of bricks. That'll be up on the left here, and we'll just want to jump up there and use our welding tool to open it up. And then the train will be happy that we got 1/3 of it filled up so it can finally have a reason to exist. It'll give us another brick, thankfully, and if we hurried, we could have jumped down into that to speed up. But like I said, we want to collect more Master Builder bricks if we can, and there's not really any that are accessible right there, but there's going to be one over here that is in the lava that for some reason I thought I might be able to jump to. That is absolutely not true, and that's also not lava. That's like mud or oil, probably oil, I don't know, sludge. Anyway, we'll want to get onto the platforms and work our way toward that brick there. Now keep in mind the checkpoints in this game usually are the last location that your feet touched down on, so if you think you can speed things up by dying, that's usually not true. And it's kind of interesting because Dark Souls does that too. The last place where you stand still is where the game usually auto-saves you. So is this game equal to Dark Souls? I don't know. There's a mini quest there that you can do if you want to, or a side quest, I guess is the better word. And that'll just use the thumper, but that doesn't help us in the main worlds or in the main quest, so we're not really going to worry about that. We're going to talk to this thing, and usually these guys open up these teeth gates, but this one wants a cake. So this is the second required time in the main quest that we are going to be using the shop. The first time was on that 4-minute quest that was pretty much, that 4-minute world that was pretty much a tutorial world. And this is the only other time we're going to be required to use the shop, because we need to come on over here and buy a cake. So we're going to need 10,000 studs, and if you have been playing the game, you will definitely have 10,000 studs. But if you've been spending a lot of time doing other things that cost studs, you might have to wander around a little bit just to collect the extra. If you also notice there, briefly you could tell that you could buy Master Builder bricks for 50,000 studs. So if you are short one or two and you don't really want to hunt one down, I guess you could always come back here, buy one, and help yourself out that way. But that's kind of a lot of studs at this point in the game for something that is very easily available. We'll want to come on over to the builder menu and find the cake in the quest object menu. That will give it to him. He will eat it up. Don't really know where it goes because I don't really think he has a digestive system, but whatever. And that will be this obstacle cleared. So this is coming up nearing the end of this video. We'll just head on into the next area, and I'm gonna stop the narration here and see you in the next part of this walkthrough.
Actually, anyone who's ever had cake would definitely think that.
Je vais,